Hello, Sophia here. Welcome to my channel. So happy to have you with me here today. Well, by request, I will be making a half pleated fold, or as some people call it, half curtain or drapery fold card. This card is so much fun and so easy, you'll be making a lot of them. First, you'll need a piece of double-sided paper cut at 8 3/4 inches by 3 1/2 inches. You'll also need a white panel cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Now this blue piece is optional, but I think it adds to the card. I also have a mat, and it's cut at 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. Of course, I removed the center so I can use it for other projects. Now the blue piece of cardstock will be a base for your pleated pattern paper. I'm just going to glue it down. Okay, next we're going to glue down the the mat. Just add some glue, align it up with the fold of your card, and press in place. On to the pleating of the pattern paper. You'll need a scoring tool for this purpose. Choose whatever side of the paper you want to show on your card. I'm using the floral side of my paper. All measurements for this card will be in the description below. Now score as follows, being careful not to press too hard and tear your paper. First score is at 1 1/4 inch, then 1 3/4 inches, then 2 3/4 inches. I'm just lightly going over my paper as not to tear it. Now we're going a 1/2 inch at 3 1/4 inch. And then we're going to go 1 inch at 4 1/4 inch. So the pattern is 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 inch. Okay, so now we're going to go 1/2 inch at 4 3/4, then a 1 inch at 5 3/4, a 1/2 inch at 6 1/4, a 1 inch at 7 1/4, and the last score line will be a 1/2 inch at 7 3/4. Now that we have the scoring done, we'll need to cut the card on an angle. So on your trimmer, line up the bottom of your first score line, which is 1 1/4 inches, and line the bottom top of the paper at the 1/2 inch mark. So again, line the 1 1/4 inch score on your trimmer, and then at the bottom top, you're going to line that up with the 1/2 inch mark on your trimmer. And then go ahead and trim it. Now this bottom piece won't be needed for this card, but you can use it on other things. Now we're going to do the fold. So we're going to use our score lines to create the pleat. The 1/2 inch score lines are your guide to folding. You'll need to fold both score lines, and the score line on the right will fold over the score line on the left. I hope that makes sense. You might want to watch this part of the video a couple of times just to get comfortable with it. It's really not hard once you get the hang of it. Okay, so now that the pleats are completed, you'll want to now turn it over and adhere the pleats together with your tape runner, or tearable tape in my case. I'm going to hold my pleats down with my ink pad. Just makes it a little bit easier to get the tape on. Okay, so just trim off the excess tape Now just add a little piece of tape along the inside of the pleat, and then you can adhere it to the card panel. That looks really good. I'm glad I used the blue cardstock underneath. It kind of makes the pattern paper pop a little more instead of just having the white behind it. Okay, so I'm using my bone folder here just to give a little bit more crispness to my pleats. They look so sweet. Okay, now I'm going to add some red ribbon across the top of the pleats and adhere it to the back of my card, or the card panel. Now, if you didn't want to use ribbon on your card, you could always just cut some cardstock strips and use it. And then you can forego the bow, or you can add a flower or whatever, you know, cut something out of the pattern paper you have and put it at the top, or just leave it. So I'm going to add a bow. I'm not good at making bows, but I figure the more I practice, the better I'll get, hopefully. Looks nice in the middle, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm going to put it to the left though, because I want to have my sentiment at the top to the right. Okay, I put a little glue dot underneath my ribbon just to hold it in place. And I'm also putting a glue dot on the back of my bow and then setting it on top of the ribbon. Okay, let's go on to the sentiment. I have just a little note, and it's from Maymay Made It set of all occasion stamps, and I will put the link in the description box below. I am going to use Uncharted Mariner, which is a distress oxide ink, because I think it matches the blue cardstock on my card. But once I got it stamped and put it closer to the blue cardstock, I realized it was kind of off, and I didn't want it off that much. So I decided that I will try red instead. So I'm going to use Distress Oxide Festive Berries. Now this little, just a little note that I did in blue, I will cut that off and put it in my little sentiments box there so I can use it on a card later down the road. All right, same with this little just a note in red. Okay, let's ink up and get it on the card. Wish me luck. Oh, now I noticed there was a little smudge on there. I just wanted to take it off in case it ended up on my card front. So I've taken out my stamp set from scrapbook.com. It's called Cards for Kindness stamp set. And I want to fill in that little space up by the sentiment. And this this stamp set has some butterfly stamps, and I thought they would look kind of cute up there. So I'm just going to stamp a couple of butterfly stamps on the top left, and I think it looks adorable. Now all I have to do is adhere it to the card base, and you know me, as soon as it hits the card base, I ooh and ah and say how beautiful it is. And I love everybody's cards. They're all beautiful. Okay, so let's adhere this down and get ready for it. Isn't it beautiful? Look at all that dimension. Like, you're gonna love, love, love making these cards. So there's the card. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.